everybody to another live on Defender Adventures 1. Matt, if you are a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. If you're a new viewer, I really appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the like button. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. That way you can follow along. Do these lives every Tuesday at 5. So tonight's topic, as you've seen in the description, let me turn the volume off on this. I do have the laptop set up so I can join in on your chats, so please do me a favor as we're going along throughout this live. Drop something in the comments there and we'll get the chat going. Good to see y'all. We've got a fun one hopefully tonight with Thanksgiving behind us and Christmas right around the corner. We are going to talk about wants versus needs, specifically in your UTV or side-by-side. I'm going to wait just a second to get everybody time to tune in. A little bit of channel cleanup. Not a whole lot going on right now. I do have some previously recorded videos that are going to be coming out here probably this week. Did a few, a little bit of different things. So while Yeller Feller was out of commission getting the front wheel bearings put in, which that video is already out. So if you guys curious about how to do that, jump over on the channel and check that video out. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into tonight's topic. So Christmas is coming fast, right? It'll be here before we know it. We all know this time of the year it gets a little crazy. Next thing you know, it's Christmas has came and gone. So let's talk about your wish list, right? What is on your wish list? Not the boring maintenance stuff that we know we need to get on the trails, but about the fun, unnecessary, just things that you really want that is not something that you would go out and splurge on just to buy because, like I say, it's a want, not a need. A need is more your maintenance stuff like your brake pads, oil filters, tires, but we all know that tires can be probably classified in either one of those categories because the ones that we want is sometimes not the ones that we need, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. Belts, everybody knows you're going to need a belt to keep these things going. But let's talk like I say, your wants. Sticking with the tire topic, sure, you can get around on your factory 27-inch tires these Defenders come with, but what's the fun in that, right? We want run the 30s or the 32s. We want the newest, latest, baddest rock tire or mud tire or whatever's out there on the market. And what else do we throw on these things that we don't need? Lights, right? Everybody lights them up with the rock lights and light bars and blinker kits and maybe cab lights. Those things are fun, but not necessarily a need. It's a want. Of course, audio. Everybody wants the big audio. Everybody wants everybody in the next county to be able to hear your sound system. You stop somewhere, and of course, everybody's got to let you know who has the loudest one. And then you got different music playing everywhere. It gets all crazy. But sound bars are an awesome thing to have, but definitely in the want category, not necessarily the need. A winch, I think we can put that in either or. Winch, in my opinion, when you bring that thing home, you better go ahead and just have one of them slapped on, because as heavy as these things are, you get in a predicament somewhere, you're going to want that thing to definitely get you out of the woods. So kind of what we're talking about. Do me a favor as the video goes along, jump in on the chat. Give me what your wants is. I want to know what you want on your wish list. What do you want for your side-by-side that you would be very grateful if Santa slid underneath the tree and you got to unwrap on Christmas morning? Drop it in the chat, right? Let's see. I got my my notes out here, as always, got my bullet points. Like I say, just as some examples would be a cage. I mean, a lot of people like running upgraded cages, especially on like the Razors and the X3s and stuff like that. Like I say, wheels, stereos, lights. How about performance? How about a tune? There's a lot of great companies out there, the aftermarket assassins, the HP tuners that make a lot of cool plug and play upgraded performance kits for these things. Clutch kits, there's a lot of companies out there that makes them. How about just some fresh gear? How about a new helmet for when you're on them Hatfield trails, or some new maybe phone mounts for inside, or tablet mounts, which might be one thing I put on my list because my tablet mount broke, but it's working for what it is. But maybe new GoPro. That's one other thing that I wouldn't mind upgrading in the future. Or how about heat? Heat. I obviously am running heat in Old Yeller Feller if you've been following along, and it's awesome. I ain't gonna lie. Heated seats even. Had a heated seats in a Viking before, and I tell you what, if you're not wanting to pull the trigger on a full cab heater, those heated seats do make a huge difference. You get in the buggy, flip the switch on, and your body, your seat is warm pretty much instantly. There's no waiting for the coolant to get warm or for the blower to blow the warm air. Those heated seats are a really nice addition, and they're fairly cheap. The ones I ordered was off Amazon. I don't know if there was a Tusk or some kind of brand, but really, like I say, affordable and easy to install. Wasn't too hateful. Did have to pull the covers off the seat, slide them in there, put it back on, and re-staple that back. But the wiring, fairly simple. Put you a couple little switches on the dash to run them, and affordable, quick heat, right? Another thing that was an awesome want, not necessarily a need, but a cool want. So, when do your wants actually become a need? And this is kind of when we get a little bit creative with the explanations. Now, you guys are probably telling your wives that somehow a $900 light bar is all of a sudden a safety need, huh? yeah, we all know, right? I swear that clutch kit, it'll save us from spending money down the road. Yeah, right, huh? And the bead locks, I had to have the bead locks. What if we blow a tire in the woods, right? We've all been there. But drop it in the comments. Tell me your best justification for your want is a need. So anyways, we all know how these things go. These things, you can obviously buy one off the showroom floor, bone stock, take it out and ride it and have an absolute ball with it. But we know how the snowball effect is. One thing leads to another, right? Need bigger tires, need a bigger lift. Need a lift, need better axles. Need axles, well, now that we got the lift and the tires, might break that axle. Now I need extra axles. And the cycle just goes on and on and on. But they're a toy, and they're an adult toy, and they are a lot of fun. So, like I say, drop it in the comments. Let me know what your list is, and we can compare and chat and just have a good little conversation about a fun topic. So let me go over a little bit about what would be on my list this year, and specifically the Defender. Now, everybody has the one thing that you put on your list every year, just like when you was a kid, writing that list to Santa, or like I still do it to this day, that is probably unreasonable, right? Probably something that you know, Christmas morning's probably not going to come, but you can dream, right? So, funny little thing right here. Cam girl is here in the background, and she's just looking at me going, yeah, yeah. She's we got a 1,000-piece puzzle they thought was a good idea to put together out here on the table, and we've been working on it in the evenings, but told her we had to take 5 so we can do this live at 5. But she's sitting back here just giving me all kind of faces. So if you see me looking, that's what's going on. But anyways, where was I at? Oh, that one item that, what's your top item, right? Mine would be a turbo kit. Now, is that a need? Absolutely not. Is it a want? Yes. Is it a big want? Yes. Is it something I'll probably buy? I'm doubting it. You never know, but it's a lot of money. And I feel like for the price of those turbo kits, for what you get out of them is, it is amazing. And don't get me wrong, I've never drove a Defender with a turbo kit, and it would be great, but I can't really justify dropping the coin for how much it costs for the performance that you get out, which, I mean, it's the only way you're going to make this thing basically the next level, to take it to that. I'm not going to say a sport machine because I won't even put it there, but it'll put it closer. That's the closest you can get. So if I had a wish list that was not capped, that's it. So let me know what you guys think. What would you do? What would be your number one thing on your wish list that you would want that is maybe kind of just a vision? Another thing that I think that I would put on there, and I will kind of list these in order from kind of, you know how you make your Christmas wish list. Number one is like, that's the one thing that, yeah, that would be awesome, go all out. And then you kind of scale her down from there. Another thing that I would believe that I would put on mine, and this kind of relates to things that you may see coming on Yellerfeller here in the near future, because it's how I would build it if I continue to build on it, which is a possibility. I know we've talked about the max versions before. Maybe that will be coming in the future. I don't know. I don't know where we're going. So that's why you guys got to tune in every week. Keep following along, keep liking, keep subscribing, because things are constantly changing here at Defender Adventures 1. And I hope y'all are enjoying it. So anyways, next on my list would be, I would probably go ahead and get the tune, right? Aftermarket Assassins. You take the ECU out, you send it to them, $400, stage 1 tune. They can do a stage 2 tune. You can run 87 with one tune, 91 with the other. Bump the horsepower up on my machine, basically from whatever it is now, 72 horse to somewhere around what the models, the 2020 and above models are, which are 82-ish horsepower. Can get it there, add an exhaust, which would be also on my wish list, and we can probably get this machine up to the 85, 87 horsepower range, somewhere in there. So that would be on my wish list. Performance-wise, I believe that's all I would do. I believe I would want, obviously, a turbo kit. Not going to happen. Maybe a clutch kit of some sort. This being a 19 model XMR, it's already geared really low, so I do like the gearing in it. I like the way it's clutched. I feel like going through the woods, it does a really good job. Just could use just maybe a bit more power, not in the low end, but on that upper end. When you're down low and when you're coming out of a hole, or when you're coming up on a rock, when you're coming to a climb, she's got the low end, she wants to go, but it kind of, once you get into that peak power, that 5, 6, 7,000 RPM range, she kind of starts, dwindling it down a little bit. So I would like the tune to get the power all the way through and put the exhaust for a little bit more airflow, just to give it just that little bit more horsepower. But anyways, that would be on my wish list. That's what I'm getting at. So turbo, performance parts, speed, the flash, the ECU flash, exhaust kit. Now suspension, let's get into suspension. I know my list is big, but it's all right. Nobody said there's how many, you're not capped on your list. You can make as long as you want. So on my maybe my suspension upgrades is I would like to get up to a 32. Now that would obviously have to come with the upgrades for the performance upgrades. So to get to a 32 on my 19, if I slap them on right now, I do have the higher clearance A-arms, but they're not forward A-arms on this model. So a 32 is going to rub, especially in a bind, it's going to rub pretty bad. So would have to have the forward offset A-arms that are offered on a 23 and newer, or do like the Super ATV forward A-arms, or one of the other companies out there that makes them. There's a bunch of them out there. And I am curious, I read on a forum the other day that somebody asked, would a 23 and newer factory A-arm fit on a 22 or older model? That way you do have that forward offset, because they come with that from factory. And I'm curious to know that. I mean, I'm assuming they would, because I mean, it's just a bolt on. They ain't changed a whole lot on them, but I'm not real sure. So if you guys know that, let me know. Drop it in the comments. I would be curious of that. I follow a couple different Facebook groups that are awesome, and they chat about some stuff like that on there, and this popped up and I was just curious. So anyways, if you know, let me know. Drop it in the comments. So I would do the forward A-arms, 30. What tire would I run? I would be hard pressed not to go with the new ITP Savage XTs, because I've watched a ton of videos on them things, and for the type of riding I do and for what the Defender is, I think that tire would be a perfect combination. It is aggressive enough to get me through the mud, because where I ride, it is kind of more muddy than it is rocks. But when we do go on them Hatfield rides, we do go into rocks. We do get into that maybe more rocky / mud terrain. Those tires look like they perform better than any on the market these days, and all around performance. They do great on not just rocks, not just mud. I'm curious to see how much life you would get out of them on the road, which that doesn't really apply a lot to me, but I'm just curious on how long they would last. And I'm not talking a sticky compound. I'm not going to run a sticky compound, which they make them in both. But I don't do enough. Well, obviously the Defender doesn't even have enough power to worry about that stickiness, and I'm not going to run straight rocks all the time. Like I say, a lot of my stuff is mud. If you followed along on the channel, we get into a lot of loose dirt, mud, and I don't really need the sticky for all that. So anyways, that's another thing I would put on my list, 32-inch ITP Savage XTs with the forward A-arms. Then we got the performance kit. I think old Yeller feller would be setting pretty good. Some of the little smaller things that I would throw in there, like I say, is a tablet mount for the inside. I've been experimenting a little bit with some of the different mounts, and the RAM mounts are amazing. That's what I run on my cell phone, which you see all my videos are recorded from my phone. It does a really good job of where it's mounted. I'm going to look into probably a RAM mount, or that would be on my wish list for Christmas, would be a tablet mount. What else? What else we thinking? Like I say, the GoPro I've been experimenting with. If you've been following along on the channel, I'm getting better with that the more that I use it, and the more that I'm really liking it. Those action cameras do a good job of catching footage from outside of the buggy. It's not all just me riding around the woods just with my camera. I know that gets boring after a while. I try to break it up for you guys. I try to do some commenting in there. I try to do some just narrating in there. That way it's not all just riding through the woods, you know, especially on green trails that I'm sure are not very, I don't know, entertaining, I would say. But I do like to show you the trail systems and what the trails look like and what we do in a Defender. We do hit some blacks in this thing, though, if you guys have seen before. So anyways, the GoPro that I'm using right now, one of my good buddies has let me borrow just to try out, and I'm loving that thing. So I would probably upgrade it to a maybe newer version or try different. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the one I'm using. It's doing awesome. And just learning how to use it is kind of there's a curve to that. And I appreciate him letting me use this one to get all the bugs worked out. That way, if I do upgrade to a different one, then I'll kind of have a head start on that. And I hope you guys are enjoying the footage that I'm getting from that. And it gives you a little bit of a different perspective. There's old Greg Gordon back. I appreciate you chiming in, sir. He's here every week, and one of my ones that come back all the time, and I really appreciate that, sir. Good to see you on here. Also, what else? GoPro, upgraded a little bit. That would be on my list. There's a million things I could go on and on that I would love to have for this thing, but that would be basically my top list. So we're coming up on, you know, where I kind of like to keep these videos around the 20 or 30 minute range. Like I say, I don't want to bore you guys to death. I don't want to ramble on and on. Hope you're enjoying these lives because I love doing them, and we're sticking to our schedule. Appreciate that, sir. We're sticking to our schedule. We're doing them every Tuesday, live at 5, and we're gaining some traction. It seems like there's some more people tuning in, and I really appreciate that. Like I've said before, there's no big community chat on side-by-side off-road. There's no whatever podcast or anything that I see to where people can join in the conversation, and we can talk about whatever you guys want. It's not just whatever I'm coming up with. You guys drop me some comments on what you want to talk about, and we'll definitely get these comments on the channel. I appreciate y'all hanging out tonight. I have fun talking wants versus needs. It kind of opens my mind up to, wow, what do I want? But you know me, and I know you guys, you're thinking about it all the time anyways, if you're anything like me that, that love these machines, and that does kind of take you back to your childhood, and you just wanting to always tinker with it and throw new stuff at it. But it's always about the fun, right? It's a hobby, and I love doing it, and hope you guys love doing it. So if maybe these things that I'm calling wants are all maybe they are needs. Maybe they're needs for us to maybe relive our childhood and have a little bit of fun at the end of the day and not take life so seriously. So I don't know. It is what it is. Appreciate y'all. Cam Girl, you want to say bye? Come around here and tell them peace out. Old Green Gordon says, I'm thinking of a Renegade for a second machine. I don't blame you, bud. That'd be a good one if you woke up Christmas morning and Santa maybe had under the tree.
I got a candy cane.
Oh, yep. She got a candy cane. We're in the Christmas spirit around here. We're going to get back to our puzzle. Somebody decided 1,000 pieces was good. Yeah.
Not my fault.
Yeah, whatever. So anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. And we
will
see you on the next one. Peace, y'all.
Bye.